Welcome to Beers and Business, everybody. My name is Sam.
And I'm Alex.
And what do we do here on Beers and Business?
Drink beer, talk about the beer, and talk about business and how we're total novices at it.
Yeah, so that's kind of pretty much the gist of what we're going to do here on this podcast, guys. I've been in construction for a long time. Alex has been in construction for a shorter amount of time. We decided to start a business, and now we are going to
figure it out.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot to figure out.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Oh.
But probably...
First things first, we're going to try some beer here, guys. So I'm going to put you guys up here on the tripod, and we're going to start this little thingy on out. Let's see if we can.
Sorry, we're staring right into the sun, but it's just too darn nice out to sit inside.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming.
Like the first 50-degree day in a while. All right, so we are going to actually today, the beer of choice is a Western Collective, which is out of Boise, Idaho. Not Boise, Boise.
I guess that's French for trees. That's what I read the other day.
All right, so we're going to have peak juice right here.
We're going to... Peaks.
There's a lot of mountain peaks around us. So
peaks.
And let's give it a try here.
Ooh. It's like we choreographed that.
I know.
It smells really good. Too bad for you, but
jerk. Yeah, I can't smell. All right, so you give it a taste. Let's see what you think.
First impression on the smell is great.
Yeah, it smells great, guys.
It tastes different than it smells. It smells sweeter than it tastes.
Oh, it's kind of like it's almost like a flatter taste. Good. It's got good hops in it.
Yeah, no, it is good. But yeah, the smell is more acute than the taste. Interesting.
I might have to finish this one in order to give a ample review.
I know. It could probably be 10 degrees colder, too. We threw them in the crawl space in a garbage bag to rest in the cool water, which sort of didn't work.
Yeah, we're not very smart guys. So anyway,
we just don't have a refrigerator here.
Yeah, not yet. Pretty soon we will have a refrigerator, and we're just going to keep... Here, I'm going to adjust this just a little bit here. All right, so again, we are going to talk about business and review beers and have some fun. I think we're probably going to be doing a lot right now just with us starting our business because we are such novices at this. We don't know a lot. Actually, that's the title of this episode. We don't know anything.
Or something along those lines.
We don't know anything. Episode 1. So, yeah, essentially, I got this guy to move out here to northern Idaho with me, up here in beautiful Boundary County.
It's just so beer squinty. It is genuinely
it's
beautiful.
really bright.
It was not a hard sell. Yeah, came up here and fell in love with the place. And Sam had a great idea.
And my idea was, let's start a business doing what we do up here. And it's crazy because there's such a need up here in this county, in this area. A lot of the contractors are not very good. And we come from an area where we work hard. It's been ingrained into us, and we like to work hard and get stuff done. And we like to be fair to our customers. And so we were like, let's just start this business.
Yeah, that kind of became the foundation of like what we were gonna do. You know, like Sam said, we come from a small town, and you do things right, or you burn bridges and you don't have work. And honestly, it's just easier to be honest and do it right the first time.
So yeah, so we're gonna take you guys through this entire process of what we're doing, from starting the LLC to starting bank accounts to dealing with banks and lending institutions. We're working with the SBA right now, but there's so many different things that we want to talk to you guys about and like help you guys understand that it's really not that hard. You have to be willing to put in the work. You got to be willing to do the research. And this is Mr. Research right here.
Well, I just love to read.
And wait, also, what is the good book?
Rocket Fuel and Traction.
Rocket Fuel I liked. Traction put me to sleep.
Well, it's like two different, viewpoints. Like if you're going to be on the back end of the business, like I will be more so, then Traction is very helpful. But like for us, the premise of Rocket Fuel is like, okay, there's the visionary, and then there's the integrator doing all the stuff to make it happen. Visionary, integrator. It was like yeah, oh, that's us. Okay, great. We each have a role to play here.
Yeah. And so I was the one that came up with the idea. I was like, let's do this. We can make this happen. And it took a little bit of convincing for you.
Well,
but-
I mean, it's admittedly kind of intimidating. Like, oh, we're just gonna like start a business and dive into this realm, into like all this stuff we don't know. It's like, it's like, yeah, you can like work the safe job the rest of your life, which has its benefits, or you can jump into the pool and figure out how to swim.
Yeah.
And, that is a little scary at first.
Yeah. And that's kind of some of the stuff that we just had to figure out. I've been doing this, like I said, I've been doing this for well over 20 years. I ran my own business. It was very, very small, where it was just me, myself. And so there wasn't a lot of back end stuff that really had to get done. And a lot of my clients were very simple to work with. And so I've had it really easy, honestly. But we're going to get this business going. We're going to try and scale it a little bit more. And we need at least enough work to keep me busy and him busy. But yeah, there's so much work up here. And I think it's going to be a really fun project for us to get going on here.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, every day talk to somebody new who's like, hey, like our project is not working out for these reasons, or we can't find somebody to work,
or they stole our money. And I've heard that multiple times.
Just heard it yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but for us, it's an opportunity because like we said, it's like, we come from a mentality where you just do it right. You're honest, you're transparent. And it's like, well,
we're not going to rip people off either.
Just go do that.
Yeah.
So we already do. So there's a need and we can fill it.
So I guess that kind of brings us down into like, all right, we don't know what we're doing. We read a book. You found a book?
Read a handful of books that I kind of found on accident, but it's like, okay, how do we make a business? Like step one, form an LLC.
Yeah, and honestly, that was really easy.
Yeah, that part's not bad.
My wife did my LLC for my former business, and she did it in like 5 minutes.
Yeah. And I have a sole proprietorship for project management consulting, and yeah, it's like just go online. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, you just hop on Google and you figure it out.
It's like the one government thing that they make really logical.
Oh wait, that's not how I type. I type like this.
He's like a rabid chicken. I don't think those get rabies, but
But yeah, so essentially the first thing was just getting our LLC formed, and then for us specifically, because we are in the construction industry, we had to go and get our insurance all set up, which we went above and beyond for our insurance. In Idaho, you're only required $300,000 insurance policy in order to be a general contractor, which is absolutely mind-blowing.
$300,000 isn't much these days anymore. So we went for $1 million policy. We just went a little bit above and beyond, which actually has turned out to help us with some of the jobs that we have going already. Great selling point. It's just like, hey, like we're at this level. We didn't just do the bare minimum. And what would it cost for, like, what's the price difference between the bare minimum and what we have? Like, nothing much.
Yeah. So we got that going. So, and the insurance was real quick and easy. We were able to we went with a local company up here called the Idaho Farm Bureau, but most states have some type of insurance, like local-based insurance, especially if you live in either rural or in a farm-based community. There's a lot of that kind of stuff for whether it's for farmers or for raw land or for hunting land, or like you can just insure pretty much anything.
Well, and yeah, keeping it local, it's like we want to integrate into the community, support the community, even with, it's obviously you'd call up the big box store and get it that way, maybe for a couple of dollars cheaper. We don't know, but it's like, if we're putting money into the community, we'll get that back, and full transparency, what do we pay a month for that? $164?
Yeah, $160 a month for a $1 million policy for our construction business. And that is as a general contractor, but that also allows for land works and large machinery.
It's a pretty broad policy, and it's a tax write-off.
Yeah. So that was number one was
LLC.
Number two was insurance.
And then,
number three, which is a little more specifically for our genre of work, because we're a contractor, we went and got our contractor's license with the state of Idaho. Excuse me.
These things happen with beer drinking.
Yeah. But yeah, so we went and got our contractor's license as a licensed general contractor in the state of Idaho. And that was super quick, and it only costed $50.
Yeah, we just had to wait like, I don't know, a
was like-
week
yeah, it was
or
like 7
so
days or
for it
something.
to go through, so not a big deal.
Yeah, so Idaho, again, is really simple right now. It's important that you make sure you check all the legalities as far as what's required in whatever state you're in. I know some other states, like Hawaii, it's very, very, very difficult to get your contractor's license in. And
I would have thought it would be the opposite.
nope, Hawaii is very difficult. Alaska, I don't even think you need one.
Wow.
Maybe you do. I don't know. But yeah, so we got our contractor's license. We're all set up to go. Then we had to go get our.
Well, we tried to just walk into Kubota and get a machine. Was that the next step?
No, bank accounts.
Oh, shoot, yeah. Putting the cart in front of the horse.
Yeah, we got some bank accounts set up. We each took a bit of our own personal money to set up essentially our bank accounts where we can, all right, we have we're starting to build a relationship with financial institutions, something that we can start pulling our insurance money out of, our gas
Yeah,
monies.
we already have like enough, like overhead where it's like, oh, just allocate those funds and then every month it just comes out of there instead of our personal stuff, and just to start separating business from like our own personal cards and finances, and just come end of the year for tax time, it'll make it a lot easier. Just do it now. Keep track of it all.
I'm just going to trust them on that.
We got QuickBooks.
Yeah, we got QuickBooks. Yeah, that's, I guess, the next.
Figuring
that goes
out
along with
QuickBooks.
baking. But yeah, so we got all that stuff set up. And literally all of this happened within like a week period.
Yeah, a lot happened. I mean, that stuff moved pretty fast.
Getting it all set up is really simple. But then now we started going into we're trying to purchase some new machinery for the business. Went into Kubota, like you were saying.
Yeah, we kind of just thought we'd walk in there and walk out with a $100,000 machine, which in certain circumstances is possible, but we learned that you need more of a debt history than either of us have. We just come from a place where you pay things off and try to not have debt.
So we're learning some very valuable lessons as far as
we didn't get the machine.
Yeah, we didn't get it. Yeah, but not a bad thing. Actually,
Blessing
I think
in
it was
disguise.
probably a blessing in disguise, like you were just saying, because now we're figuring out that maybe that wasn't the right machine for us for what we want to do.
Well, and it's like, okay, yeah, it's great to just walk into a dealer and get, a super low financing number. But because that didn't happen, we reached out to all of the local credit unions and local banks, and they all proved to be super helpful. Even if we didn't do business there, they put us in contact with people that were willing to help.
Yes.
We've just been able to network so much more in terms of like this amount of financing options versus like what we were afforded at Kubota. And no strikes against Kubota, because their
They were really
financing
helpful.
makes sense. Sales guy, Cyle with a C, awesome.
Go check
in
them out
there.
at Boundary Tractor, Cyle with a C.
Like, we definitely want to do business there. It's just like, we just didn't fit into how they do their financing.
loan system,
and that's
yeah.
fine. We understand it. Initially it was like, darn it, this sucks. But, big picture, long term, it's like, no, makes sense. And we'll be better off exploring these additional options.
Yeah, I think that's really the key. Is just like we didn't want to get down on ourselves, and so I guess that's something that I took out of this whole process so far is like you're gonna have things that are disappointing, but don't get down on yourself.
Yeah, you're gonna have days where it's one step forward, two steps back, or maybe a couple days like that. Like, that's just par for the course. That's life.
Yeah.
But if you sit down, take a breath, and like, hey, what can we learn from that? It's like, oh, there was, there's a silver lining hiding in there somewhere. And we found it with, the resources we've been able to acquire with the SBA folks. And
and I guess that's the next thing to talk about.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at now.
Yeah, we're looking at getting an SBA loan. There's a lot of prep work, a lot of stuff on Alex's end in order to get all the paperwork.
Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop.
Yeah. A lot of prep work on his end with that, and I think that's where you've kind of taken the lead, and it's been very helpful because I don't know any of that.
Well, again, it's like in this partnership, like Sam has his skills, I have mine, and sometimes those things overlap and sometimes they don't. And we just recognize, like, yeah, I can do that faster, and it's just more efficient for me to handle it, so I do it, and vice versa.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
So-
the great thing about having a partnership. It's like if I had to do all of this by myself,
You'd be overwhelmed and
gosh.
you wouldn't do it.
I'd be going crazy.
And that was the difficulty with my former business is I was doing it all myself, and it was a struggle. My wife helped me a little bit, but we're busy with the kids, and so she's got a lot of stuff on her plate. So it was just I needed to find a good business partner that was going to help me create this business, but also keep it running. And so I think that's what we've kind of found here.
Yeah, not to get too into the weeds, but we're shooting for the same thing. You know, like that was a topic of discussion before ever making this thing exist on paper. You know, to like align our goals and values and like, all right, we're headed to the same place, and with that, we'll just work better together instead of like you're going over here, I'm going over here. Like it's not going to work.
Yeah. And so, I mean, again, kind of backtracking a little bit to where we were at, there's all sorts of organizations, too, that are very helpful. And that's kind of what we found by going and talking to the credit unions. We were able to get put in to contact with the right people and the right organizations. And here, so we're in Idaho again. We have, what was the name of the group? But it's actually based out of Boise, and we're 9 hours north in North Idaho.
I think they're in Hayden. Like they have a physical location in Hayden.
Well, the group that we met with.
Yeah, there's like at the community college, or the state college, learning institution.
It's a college.
There are resources for starting small businesses. Yeah. I think that's in Coeur d'Alene. Gosh, we'll have to we'll put some things in the comments.
Yeah, we will make sure we put everything in the link below so that you guys can kind of, if you guys are in Idaho and you want some of this information that we're doing, we will make sure that everything is available to you. And if you guys have questions, make sure you leave it in the comments, and we will answer everything that we can to help you guys out because, again, this is a big learning experience. So
yeah.
But yeah, every state has these types of programs where you can be in touch, and they're like, this one it's all free. We don't have to do anything.
Yeah, we did a free webinar recently, and that was really helpful. And yeah, webinar, so remote. Yeah. You know, we didn't have to drive anywhere, which was nice.
So there's a lot of really cool stuff that's available to you to help you learn about all these different processes. In whether that's an SBA loan or grants or anything, they're there to help you. So use them. And
there's probably stuff. There's probably stuff you didn't know about. There's stuff we didn't know about. But like collectively, these folks, they come from the banking industry, financial industry, whatever. The big takeaway was they're really eager to help. They love what they do. They're excited to see local business grow, and they just want to help. And we haven't had anyone shut a door in our face and be like, oh, like you didn't grow up here. We don't want to help you, or this is. Your idea is crazy or whatever. It's like, no, everyone's like, hey, yeah, we can do this or that. And that's been really reassuring as we kind of dive into the unknown. Again, to use the pool analogy, like no one's letting us sink. We've had a lot of help remaining afloat as we venture into the unknown, which has been helpful. Again, you take 2 steps back and you find someone that's there to help. And you're like, oh, okay, now we can take 3 steps forward.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the important part is just use all local resources.
The worst they can say is no.
Maybe, honestly, I think what we should do is in the description below, we'll put our order of operations and how we got this business started and all the different things. And that way you guys can kind of follow our example, I guess, if that's what it is.
Well, and if like anyone's really serious about acquiring some contact information about the folks we've
especially up here in northern Idaho or Idaho in general.
Like, yeah, we'd be willing to pass it along. Like you said, people are eager and willing to help.
Yeah. So I guess that's kind of where we're at right now. I mean, we're starting to get some contracts going here. We've got a few jobs in the works. We're working with a few banking institutions, but specifically we have a job that's going. That's an insurance job and a bank job. And we're working with ICCU, which is Idaho Central Credit Union. So building those relationships is really important. So like we had to build a builder profile with that credit union that involved his work experience.
A bunch of paperwork and nothing terribly technical, but just like outlining who we are, what we do, and like how to manage this project moving forward. Stick in some Gantt charts, make it look cool.
Yeah.
They're super useful.
All his stupid stuff that he likes. Anyway.
Project management, man.
So yeah, so there's all sorts of things. Like we're working on that with some clients that we have right now. It's a long process. It's a long drawn out process to figure everything out.
Well, it's like, I don't know. It's like, oh, we've got this new task. Oh, we haven't done it before. Like, I used
eagle.
Oh, nice.
Sorry. I had a squirrel. Eagle.
Yeah. Well, I was watching Cece roll in the dirt over there. It's distracting. But yeah, it's like, oh, I haven't done this. Oh, I got to take an hour to figure it out or update this or do this. But the next time you do it, it takes 5 minutes because, like, now you know. So, like, yeah, all these tasks, it's like, it takes
in the
a
beginning.
while. But that's just the beginning thing because then you know. The second time's always easier. Third time, whatever. But first time, you got to learn.
Yeah, so that's probably about where we're at with all the logistical stuff, all that junk that we're dealing with. Now, it's even more deeper logistical stuff. Like, all right, so I have tons of tools. I've got trailers. I've got everything.
Prep work time.
I'm a hot mess, just so you know.
While he is the source of many great ideas, his brain is, imagine like a beehive, but they don't know how to go home.
Where's home?
You're all over the place.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, that's the thing is I've got so much going through my brain, and I've got lots of ideas, and I have the skills to get this done. I mean, this house alone.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not capable because,
My house is up.
we're sitting on the proof.
But yeah, so there's lots of other things, like back-end things. Like, I know Alex is working on trying to do maintenance on trailers, get maintenance schedules going for the trucks and trailers, for all the equipment. I mean, I probably have $80,000 worth of tools and trailers.
Yeah, and everything needs
be fixed.
scheduled love. I mean, everything's in good shape. It's just like,
Just needs to be organized.
you just got to
too.
evaluate where it's at. What do we have? Like, the tool trailer needs tires and bearings probably need re-greasing, and just like, okay, at what interval do we do this? To budget for it. Not that you're like driving to a job and you blow a tire and now you
don't
out a
have
whole
money.
day of work. And
Well, and then if you don't have money in your account to take care of the tires,
That,
and you don't
it's
have a
like-
tire there, or
it's a pretty, for me, you do the prep work and then you don't have to deal with the sunk cost of being unprepared.
yeah,
So it's like, again, you put in some work now and you're good. It's like, it's just, everything gets easier.
CJ, get over here.
She's trying to go chew on the cow
She's
head.
chewing on a cow head, yeah. A rotting cow head from like
she's-
2.5 months ago.
She's a nice dog, but she's kind of disgusting.
Yeah. CC, get over here.
She doesn't care what you say.
Oh, I don't care, but
Again,
Hey!
yeah, back to prep work.
Okay.
It more than pays for itself. While it may seem annoying at times, like, oh, I gotta go inventory tools and dust out the trailer. It's like, well, when you need something, you know exactly where it is, and you know the battery's charged, and it's got nails in it, if it's the Milwaukee nail or whatever.
yeah. And so I guess that's something that, I mean, in the beginning of starting a business, planning is key. It's key to everything, and researching and planning. But what is one thing that I told you about
Well,
planning?
that it's boring.
Well, that too. Yeah, planning is boring. Yeah, no, but you can only plan so much.
Well, yeah, you know,
So sometimes you just gotta, like you said, jump in the pool and
recently
just
listened
you might
to a
drown.
podcast, and that's the metaphor I keep stealing. It's like you can only read about swimming so much before you just jump in the pool and you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And we got to a point where it's like, okay, we've done enough research. I can only read so much. Like, let's just dive in and see what happens. And again, while it can be kind of intimidating, every day is a learning opportunity. You
Oh.
know, whether it goes good or bad, it's like we're learning stuff.
And that kind of goes along with our two different personality types as far as business goes. Like, I'm gonna jump in. I'll jump in probably an hour before I should jump in the
Yeah,
pool.
you're kind of like a shoot from the hip kind of guy.
But you're the guy that's, all right, I'm gonna research, and both of those have their downfalls. And so, I guess
It's like you don't want to get into it too early, but like I'll read about it way too far and then just nothing will get done. It's like you
and
gotta
like
learn where to cut it off and be like, all right, I've done enough. Like,
Yeah, well, then I think that's where we were kind of sitting. Like, you were researching.
well, and
and
I
it
was back
like,
in Wisconsin too, kind of like in this weird limbo period, and it just made me feel like I was achieving something for the business. And then ultimately, it was like, all right, time to ship the things out, drive out, just like get here and get boots on the ground and move forward.
But even just like, as far as like research goes, you researched, and then that's it. It's just.
Well, then there's like.
So it's just like finding that happy balance of when do I jump in or when do I need to hold back and not jump in? Like that's my end.
Yeah, exactly. But like, you know, I don't know. Again, going back to the research, it's like there's the real world. You're just going to encounter stuff you could have never read about or prepared for, and it's just like be patient and just do your best.
Yeah.
There's no sense in getting frustrated.
All right, sorry guys, the camera got too hot. So we are gonna take our beer cans, our empties. We're gonna go shoot them. So until next time, guys, we will see you guys. Oh, in business, I'm Sam.
And I'm Alex.
And we will see you guys next Friday. All right, man.
Safety's off, it's hot.
All right. Oh.
Yours is like off to the right by that post.
Oh, I'll just shoot whatever that one is. There it is.
Woo! Probably stuck
Hey.
one in that post.
That's what happens, guys, on Beers and Business.